Hi, it's Donna from redcarpetlearning.com. I'm coming to you from Hampton Inn in Hadley, Massachusetts. I'm in the pool area because frankly, I couldn't get good lighting anywhere else. So we are back with the second installment of 52 Q&As with Donna. I'm going to do one for every single week of 2024. And we're going to continue with the first question that we talked about last week, and that is, we have a company with owners, managers, leaders who do this amazing job creating events and activities and experiences and all kinds of morale boosting experiences for our employees. We give gift cards, even cash bonuses, and yet our employees seem to feel entitled to all of this. We have whole departments who are refusing to come to the events even. And not only that, we've seen some significant gifts and cards just tossed in the trash after we gave them to employees. So what do we do? So my first response, my gut reaction to this particular question, and I'll link to the video somewhere that you can get it from this video, my gut response is that there's some underlying discontent going on in this organization that's not being addressed. And so today we're going to talk about one of the steps you can use to address that, and that is to better actively start listening to your team members. Ask the questions that you are afraid to ask, right? Really start actively listening to them. And I'm going to give you 3 listening strategies, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what to do with the information that you find out. Okay, the first strategy is just get out from behind your desk and start walking the floor, building relationships with your team members. This is really one of the things that makes them feel valued, and you use it to ask questions to get information about what's going on in your organization. I have a great customer and friend who is the CEO of a medium-sized organization, and this is a strategy that he uses. He spends 20 to 30 minutes of every single day walking around talking to employees. And he asks them 3 questions. The first is just, how you doing, right? And usually the answer is fine. And then he'll move on. He'll say, is there anything I can help you with? And sometimes they'll say something, and other times they'll just say, no, I'm fine. Here's the magic question. This is the kicker. This is the one that actually gets him the answers he's looking for. He says, if I had a magic wand, or if you had a magic wand and you could change anything about this organization and how we work, what is the one thing that you would change, that you would use that magic wand to change? And he says, this is the one that prompts people to stop, to really think, and give me actual answers. And first of all, just the fact that he's asking the question makes people feel like they're being listened to, like their voice matters. But it also gives him information so that he knows what needs to be addressed in the organization. So that is my first tip. Get out from behind your desk and start building relationships and asking questions of your team members one-on-one. It is worth the 20 or 30 minutes a day that you take to do this. As a matter of fact, you can't afford not to take the time to do this. That's number 1. Number 2 is a technique I think was first written about in the book Good to Great. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's called Stop, Start, and Continue. And you get people in a room, people at all levels of the organization, different departments, and you pose this question. We really want to make this a culture that you feel positive about, a place that you feel happy for the most part to come into work every single day. So in order to do that, what do we need to start doing? What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to continue doing? And the way you do this is you give them 3 index cards so they can do this anonymously, even though you have them all in the room, and you ask them, what do we start doing? What are we not doing that we should be doing? What do we stop doing? What are we doing that is not really helping? And what do we continue doing? What are we doing that works? Have them write them on the index cards anonymously, collect those index cards, do it with different groups, and then once you have all the index cards compiled, go through them and look for low-hanging fruit and look for themes. What are the themes that come up over and over and over again? And that's where you know to start focusing your efforts, right? If those are the big themes that are coming up over and over from many employees. Do not, by the way, waste your time trying to analyze people's handwriting and figuring out who said what. I know you do it. I have seen leaders do this. Stop doing that. You're wasting your time. That's not the point of this activity. The point of this activity is to really look for what are some of the things that we need to change in order to build a more positive culture for our employees, which is only going to then impact more positively our customers. All right, that's strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 is what we do at Red Carpet Learning when we go and we work with an organization on longer term, is we actually, the very first step is what we call discovery. And I personally will sit with groups of employees at different levels of the organization from all different departments, and I just sit with them in a room and I ask them questions. Look, there are some amazing online surveys and apps and things that you can do to get anonymous feedback from your team members, and I highly encourage you to use them and listen in that way as well. But it is not a substitute for getting in a room, letting people know that you really care, you want the answers to these questions, and you see their body language, their eye contact, the tone of their voice as they are talking about your organization. And I'm telling you, as I do these, after the first 3 or 4 groups, and I do several, like sometimes I'm sitting there for 2 or 3 days with just group after group after group, I can tell whether this is an organization where people feel mostly positive about it, or if we have some work to do on employee experience before we can start focusing on traditional customer experience. So sometimes it is helpful to have an outside person come in and do that, particularly if you are having problems, because it can be hard to sit in those rooms and really, feel that discontentment. However, even after we've done them, I encourage leaders to start doing them on their own. One of our clients started doing that. After I went in and it was not a great experience, they started implementing what they called penny for your thoughts, and they started doing these on a regular basis, just going from location to location, sitting and having these listening sessions, asking questions about how they felt, about the culture, is there anything you would improve, what's working well, what's not working well, and then just letting the conversation unfold. I always do try to end on a positive note, right? Ask like what is working or what's the best part of your job, what do you like about coming in here every day. So they started this penny for your thoughts, and she said it. She told me at the beginning it was really, really hard. It was painful to sit in those rooms, but they kept at it. They kept doing it, and then it got easier and lighter, and the employee experience got better, and they felt listened to and heard, and things improved significantly. And really, one of the starting point for all of that was listening to their employees. So that is strategy number 3. Now, what do you do with all that information once you get it? What you do is you first look at all of the information. You look for themes and low-hanging fruit. So there are going to be some things that people ask for, that are really easy. It's like a no-brainer. Let's just take care of those things. And by the way, let them know. Say, we listened to you, we heard you. Promote that you took care of those things, right? So they feel listened to, that their voice mattered. Then you look at some of the other themes that are going on, and they may take a little food for thought, right? It might be about pay. It might be about manager issues. It might be about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, flexible schedules. There could be any number of things, right? So take a look at those themes and then pull groups together. Don't just sit in your leadership bubble and figure out, what you can do. Pull the teams together, like representative from every level of the organization, pose the question, tell them what you know as a leader in terms of budget and expectations and those kinds of things, and then get their perspective as people who are actually working directly with your customers or on your machines or your equipment or whatever it is. And then what you do is you collaborate and work together to come up with a solution that is going to improve both the employee and the customer experience. It works for both the company and the team member, which ultimately works for the customer. Now, again, I just want to say, do not sit in your leadership bubble and come up with this information on your own. You want to collaborate with your team. And why? Because not only will they feel listened to, but if they're collaborating on the solution, they're going to buy into the solution. Okay, that is my second response to the first question of 52 Q&As with Donna. Next week, we're going to continue with this question. It will be the last answer to this particular question, and we're going to talk about how sometimes as leaders we confuse the tools and tricks of the recognition game with what actually makes people feel valued. So I will see you next week.